Watch out, this podcast may contain adult content. We're brought to you today by Altered Reality Entertainment, the creators of Empire State Comic Con. Check it out at escomiccon.com. And now, on to the show.
Yo, what is up, everybody? Insert that intro music right here. I am your semi-part-time host, Andy. And with me, of course, as always, is Elijah, the hype man of all hype men.
Wham,
How you
wham,
doing,
wham,
buddy?
wham,
Yeah,
wham,
that's your
No.
personal air horn.
I mean, it's kind of late while we're recording here, so I didn't want to do full air horn and like wake up all my roommates. Like...
That's exactly what I would imagine the air horn of somebody who's almost 30 would sound like.
Yeah, tempered air horn.
Yeah.
Wham, wham.
like your future and your hopes and your dreams.
Yes. Oh no,
okay.
tempered. Oh my god.
Okay, so let us first start off with the most important news of all time today, right now. You know, I'm never going to really nail the name of that segment, but I think people are going to understand what we're doing.
Yeah, it's the movies, right? The movies at midnight, most important thing ever today?
Today, yes. Okay. Yeah. So for us, that is news out of a Netflix movie called The Irishman. We just wanted to talk about real quick. So The Irishman is a Martin Scorsese movie with Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and Joe Pesci.
Incredible.
And reportedly, the first half of the movie, and this is out of Scorsese's mouth himself, the first half is all CGI dated. So all the actors have been digitally de-aged, basically, for the entire first half of the movie.
And Marvel's been really perfecting that process for a long
dabbling
time now.
In this for a while. I mean, you saw that one Tony Stark scene in, was it Ultron? Was it Civil War?
I think it's in Civil War, and that one's pretty rough. But like,
yeah,
since
Civil
then,
War.
It's been
still even as rough as it is. I mean, it was still pretty impressive when we first saw it. You know, and that was like 5 years ago. So
yeah, because like Hank Pym looks really good digitally de-aged. The Nick Fury stuff seems okay in the trailers.
Yeah, and so we thought this was important, not just because of this one movie having it and it being a large portion of that movie. You know, lots of movies you just use CGI for a large portion of it, but we were just talking about how this is really just the future of age just being a number. You know, what does this mean for a guy like Tom Cruise? Like, could Tom Cruise, as a 70-year-old man, could we have
make
a Tom
sequel
Cruise body double?
Cocktail?
Yeah,
sequel to Cocktail, like
or I just like has a body double and they de-age him in other scenes so he looks younger. He does that anyway because he drinks the blood of youths.
Oh yeah, he keeps it tight. Yeah, he keeps it very tight.
So, what do you think? I mean, do you have any like takes on this? I just think it's it's kind of like the Leia thing from from Rogue One. It's all cool stuff, but is it like do we want to see Harrison Ford in 50 years still making movies?
Yeah, because I think what it does is that like Moff Tarkin in Rogue One, he's not around
very good
anymore.
Example.
But like that was a great like way to still kind of have him being included in this. But then at what point did like the studios have permission to keep using a person's likeness? Do they have to get permission from the family? Is that a way for them to make money into the future? Is it a way for maybe impressionists to even make more money? So, like Jay Farrow, he can do Denzel impersonations. He can do, but like if we, as these people either get older or they stop working, is there still a way for them to be featured in things, either, post-mortem or, I mean, I just keep getting excited about the idea of like, maybe Leo is going to be viably like, because like Clint Eastwood's still making movies, of course. Is that just because it's in his blood?
He's Clint Eastwood, yeah.
Yeah, because he's Clint Eastwood. He's never going to stop. But like,
yeah,
the thing is,
if they asked him about the de-aging, he's like, I don't need that CGI shit. I'm ready to.
I'm a real actor.
Yeah, exactly. Yes.
But no, I do think it adds a tale to some people, and it might get into a scary place because with the way they Photoshop certain people to look prettier on like magazine covers. What if they're just doing that in movies?
Elijah's worried that they're gonna someone's gonna Photoshop Elijah into some like risque photos that get put on the internet, right? You're concerned
it's just weird.
About that?
Well, yeah, no. Then there's the thing where you can mimic someone's voice after an AI hearing a few phrases that they say. So like there is going to be a point where we're just going to be able to get, like. Let's say 40 years in the future, Denzel's no longer with us, but we're going to be able to get a computer generated Denzel performance. Like I think that's where we're
Do we
heading.
need actors is the question, and the answer is yes. Until we see how great digital Denzel is, and we're like, dude, that computer program can act. Let's get him another movie. Let's do.
Well, no, could you imagine a program being able to like watch and absorb all of Denzel's movies and then understand his mannerisms and what he would do in the film? Like, I'm sure
Would
that there's
be the best ever.
well, and then
I'm
like this
sure.
leads to that future where like you're like, hey, like you're just given a premise of a movie, and then you like with your controller you select the actors you want in the different roles. You're like, oh, I want like Bradley Cooper as the love interest, and I want like this person as the lead actress, and like you get to like select that, and then the movie just fills out with digital
That's
interpretations of
why
people.
in 10 years when that technology exists, we will be a gaming at midnight podcast.
Gaming at midnight. It's
because everything will be
Bandersnatch at midnight.
everything is going to be gaming, and once we get to that future that you're talking about. Okay, so let's we
No, but that is
that's
important.
cool.
You were right.
That's
You
cool.
were right. It's important. Like that movie might change things for
And
us.
hey, guess what? That movie might be awesome. It could also be horrible. Who knows? But
It's
I'm
a
in.
Scorsese joint, man. I
It's on
can't see
Netflix
it being
too, so
terrible.
we'll see you soon. Thanks, whoever's subscribing to my Netflix account for me. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and review a movie now that we both saw this week, and it just released in theaters, and it is the Lego Movie 2.
The part 2, yeah.
The part 2, yeah, second one. So we're gonna just talk about some pros and cons. I actually didn't have a crazy amount on my list. I think the biggest pro for me was just that the movie was fun again. And I
Yeah,
think if your expectations were set correctly, if you weren't expecting, again, some people go into these Lego movies expecting some kind of masterpiece. But if you were just wanting to have a good time and, you're bringing your kids to a movie, it's a good movie to go see.
Yeah, to add on to that, I definitely have fun on my list. It's fun and funny, and there's not a lot of movies that are this fun and this funny. Because like, there's some movies that are like laugh out loud funny, but this is just like from beginning to end, there are laughs throughout. And another like bonus like point on my list is that like there are laughs for adults and there are laughs for kids. So it's one of those things where like there are clear times where you can hear the adults laughing at a joke that the kids don't get, and then clear times where like a banana slipping on its own peel and the kids are like losing it. And it's cool that the Chris Miller and the Philip Lord movies have this, that smart dynamic and that like depth for adults as well. So it's like enjoyable for parents to go see this movie with kids. So yeah, you're right, fun all the way.
Yeah, and part of that I wrote down as one of my pluses is a tennis raptor, right? Tennis raptor.
I have Raptors on my list as well. I have Raptors,
I knew you
just
did.
Raptors.
I knew you did. They were all subtitled, and my son is in kindergarten and can't quite read yet, so those jokes are not for him. Those are for the older kids and the adults as well.
You ready for my first pro, Andy?
Yeah,
that hasn't been shared. It's Bruce Willis.
No, that's also on my list. I was going to say that was the most important thing in the movie, but I just feel like that would have been disingenuous to the actual movie to say the best part was all the Bruce Willis cameos.
I definitely don't live up here.
So
what's your next pro?
Well, okay, so I had 3 total pros.
Okay, I have much more than that.
Okay. Fun Times Had by All, and Tennis Raptor. So what else do you have on your list?
The songs, I really enjoyed the songs. They're designed to be catchy and annoying in a way, but I thought they were still fun. Like I like the songs. I said the adults versus kids laugh things before.
For me, the music is a wash.
Okay,
like
it's just
it is both fun and catchy as it is also annoying and horrifying.
Gotcha, because you have kids and you're going to have to listen to it again.
This is coming from a person who will for sure have to be listening to that again at some point.
Yeah, see, for me, I thought that they were not only clever but good, especially the end credit song, and they're all written by that guy from The League, Taco. I really like him. But yeah, I thought the songs were really good, and coming from a place where I never have to listen to them again, Andy, I really liked them. So
that's what I was also going to say too. Is you're also the kind of person that would opt in to re-listening to those songs on the way home after the
just
movie.
In general, yeah. Me and Casey were actually listening to the end credit song again and dancing to it earlier. So you were.
So you said the guy that has played Taco in League wrote it. Did Lonely Island perform? Is that who
Yeah.
performed it? Okay, that's
Yeah,
what I
they
figured.
they sang the end credits song with Beck
For the
and
last one, right?
Robin. Yeah, and then it's T-Pain in the "This Song's Gonna Get Stuck Inside Your Head" one.
T-Pain making all the right life choices at this
Yeah,
point.
that's a cash in. That's a keep getting them checks move right
No,
there.
no, listen, I feel like everything about T-Pain's career right now is like keep getting them checks. And you know who knows it? T-Pain. He's aware. He's self-aware completely. So I love that guy. I'm all in. Okay.
Getting through the rest of my
Yep.
pros real fast here because I have I
Real,
had
real
10
quick,
pros.
the
Oh, go.
the T-Pain podcast will start next week. Okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
yeah. T-Pain at midnight.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's actually a little different. That's like in a strip club live from the buffet. Batman's a plus. Just anytime Will Arnett's Batman, I love it. I have Bruce Willis on the list twice. I have Bruce Willis and then Bruce frickin' Willis. Like,
Okay.
I love
Yep.
it. I think it still looks unique. Like that's something that I like about the movie. That there's that mix of being made from real Legos versus being CG, and I still think it looks believable and unique. And I do like just the look of the movie, just over other animated movies.
Yep.
The brother sister story made me cry because I understand those feelings, like the whole like you just want to be an adult, and then your dumb little sister's like just being like play with me, and then like that they can ultimately reconcile. Like that made me cry. I loved it. I love that a lot.
Yeah, but you're into emotional things and reconciliation.
Truth. They got me with the feels. Like I said, I had Raptors on my list. I had Fun and Funny on my list, and then Maya Rudolph showing up. Like I appreciated that, the stepping on the Lego moment. Like I'm just happy she was in the movie.
It was really good for her to show up since Will Ferrell couldn't bother.
Yeah.
That was one of my cons is Will Ferrell yelling from the background.
Yeah, and then voicing Lord Business, like they had his voice clearly for like a day, and that was it. But yeah, Maya Rudolph, and I can also in my headcanon see her and Will Ferrell being married, and those being some messed up children because of that.
Can we get a live action adult comedy about those two being married and like dealing with their kids who are obsessed with Legos?
I would love to see it.
I'm all in. Yeah, the Phil Lord, Chris Miller adult comedy.
Yeah.
Deal with
Okay,
it.
so do you want to roll to our cons now?
Well, yeah. So you brought up a couple things I wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
So I had 3 cons as well on my list. And I thought 2 of these kind of summed up everything that was wrong with the movie.
Okay.
The first was that this movie just wasn't the first one. Like you basically when you went into the first one, you didn't know what to expect, and you got this ridiculously good-looking, awesome Lego movie, something you'd never seen before.
And then the end has those unique concepts of it being a real world.
So for us, for us, this is the 3rd Lego movie that we have seen. And so the marvel of seeing that Lego, some of the stuff that you talked about was a pro, is almost a con at this point because it's not. It's because it's not anything new. It's an exciting. It's the same. And how do they innovate with that? It's really hard to do.
No, and that's one of my cons.
That led to the second con. And they're kind of tied together, and you can talk about this, but they had to deal with that fourth wall break from the first movie, and it kind of like was
hampered that. Yeah.
Now, I can see somebody making an argument that was a pro, and they handled it really, really well. And I actually think that they probably handled it about as well as they could have.
Yep, I agree.
But ultimately, having to do all of that is a con to me. And I don't and having to shoehorn in that relationship between the brother and sister in the real world, to me, was a con because I thought that they could have just existed still in this kid's mind and, kept it going the way that it
gotcha.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yes.
Yeah. So my con that ties most into what exactly, like as soon as you were saying it, I was like, yep, we're on the same page, is that it definitely to me felt like the third time round. Because I include Lego Batman as a part of this universe.
They talked about it too. They talked about Lego Batman.
Yeah.
So
the things that happen in the movie.
But it's canon, Lego canon.
It like I said, 100% it feels like the third time around. So there's a lot of the luster off of the novelty of it. Yeah, I agree. And then you said that they had to deal with the fourth wall stuff, but on mine, what I put on the list was that there was too much time as real Legos. So it's kind of the same thing. It's just like I just wanted it to be more about the story in the movie rather than them showing what the Legos were doing from our perspective.
Yes, because now we're like getting into the like, are these Toy Story style Legos? Like what's real? What's not? Like, oh, that's funny.
I have a few more cons. I thought the bad guy twist was a little too obvious.
Okay,
In general, I'm
sure.
just like I'm against time travel in these kind of movies, like being a plot point, because there's so many plot holes, and there were like things that I was like, wait, none of this makes any sense, so I couldn't get my head
Yeah, we're
around that
adults
or out of
thinking
it.
about time travel. We
Yeah.
watched Looper and all these other, time
And I
travel
know it's
movies.
it's so hard to get time travel stuff right either, and like everyone has their own version of what should be right for time travel stuff.
Yeah.
So like that, as soon as it happened, I was just like, that's got to be a negative for me. And then my last one is just that because it's a kids movie, I had to watch other kids movie trailers before the movie, and that has to be a con for me.
Yeah. You're not gonna go see Wonder Park in theaters this summer?
No, I could have done without that ugly world of toys thing being. I didn't need to know about that movie ever.
All right. Well, so that's our review. What did you come up with your final score?
Yeah, I have 10 positives and I have 5 negatives, so I'm at a 5.
A +5. That's crazy. Because that means that it's scored just as high um, as Bird Box has for you.
It's tied with Bird Box.
And
Yeah.
I do feel like I need to say this too. I have a fact checker in the room listening to me right now as I talk. We completely, as the rest of the world did as well, forgot about Lego Ninjago, which is the forgotten fourth Lego movie that nobody wants to talk about.
Yeah, did not remember that one.
No, and apparently neither did Phil Lord and Chris Miller, because
Yeah,
they did not make
keep it
one
in
iota of reference to that movie in the entire thing. So
That's
thank
so
you.
incredible.
My fact checker is my wife, by the way.
What an excellent fact checker.
And let's be real, she's a fact checker all the time in real life too,
Gotcha.
not just during the podcast.
So I want to bring up something just outside of like our review of this. So we're sitting at a 5 right now. It sounds like for between the two of us, because you gave it an even. It was a wash for you, 0, which is a good movie
it's like
for
a
us.
2.5 average.
Yes.
So it's a 2.5 overall. Okay.
So and then I gave it a 5. But so the thing that I wanted to go over with you is that I saw one of our mutual friends say that the movie was a C plus. And like just in my head, I couldn't wrap around the movie being a C plus, because like I guess I have to maybe readjust my standards, because I don't think a C plus is a movie I want to go see necessarily. And I thought that this was still a fun, enjoyable time, and I just couldn't understand like that person's like I was like, why would you give this a C plus? I thought it was much better than that.
I think it is a expectations versus reality thing, right? Like if you expected the first movie, this is a C plus.
Oh yeah, it was. I didn't
like
think
that's
it
what
could reach the levels of the first one. Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Like, do you think it's a C plus, Andy, or does
no,
that shock you
I
too?
don't. I mean, I gave it a 0 on our scale, but for us,
That's probably like what, an A?
it's like a B. I'd say that's a B. It's like a B.
Okay.
It's like a good movie. It's watch, like if you don't see it in theaters, you're not gonna like be upset about it. But if you went and watched it, you're not gonna hate yourself either, kind of thing.
Yeah.
So no,
Okay.
I can't see a C plus. A C plus for us would be somewhere in like the -5, -0 to -5 range.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I just like the quality of the movie and it being a sequel, and like it actually nailing being a sequel, and having, like you said, having to deal with the problems that the first one ends with, in the same way that Last Jedi has to deal with the problems that Force Awakens sets up. Like it's just like it dealt with it gracefully. Like
It did it
and I
as
thought that
best
it did a
could.
good job. Yeah, exactly what you
They
said.
could have also
Best it
ignored it because it's a Lego movie.
True.
So
They did not.
they didn't have.
They're trying to be too cute and smart over
I don't
there.
think anybody would be
Phil Lord and
upset
Chris
about
Miller.
Lego movie continuity. Yeah.
Because I mean, we
So-
just forgot Ninjago, so
We did just forget it. No, it doesn't exist. What Ninjago? What?
what?
Okay,
what level?
so we've each pulled and curated a few news stories that we want to pitch at each other, and I'm sure we have similar stories. We can go like kind of back and forth if you want. I don't know. How you
Yeah,
wanna
I'd
do
love
this.
to. I'd love to. And I think this is less so news, because there's going to be plenty of things that happen that we don't talk about. This is just more like the stuff we care about when it comes to entertainment, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay, what do you got? What do you want to talk about?
Well, I think we got to start with Batman casting, right? Like that's
Yeah,
the thing
okay,
on the tip
good,
of everyone's
good.
tongue.
Well, yes, and there's 2 names that I have heard floated.
Well, did you hear Chris Pratt? Because that's the one that I saw recently that I was like, no, get out of town.
Well, what would be funny is why. So you say get out of town? Why? Just because he's been in Marvel, or you don't think it would work?
Because his hair's too light. You need dark hair to be Batman.
Listen.
He's too funny. He's too funny and doughy. No, get out of here.
Listen, James Gunn is going to pull all the Guardians over, and they're all going to be now across
That would be
the DC
incredible.
universe.
That would be incredible.
So,
Okay, I'm back in. Andy,
so
with one word, you've got me back in.
with that being said, I hope that Batman's Bradley Cooper. I don't think it's going to be. Don't you think he could pull off a Batman?
Bradley?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Okay. So,
But he'd want to direct that movie. He's
yeah.
done. He's done. Like Matt Reeves. Like he's like Matt Reeves. Sorry, that chair's mine.
So the main two actors that I've heard is Armie Hammer, who I would be in on. Now he's a blonde-haired human, so you'd have to fix that. Do we know what Armie
Yeah.
Hammer looks like with dark hair? I don't know.
Yeah. I just can't see Batman being blonde, right? Like I think that's
they would
just
have to make him dark hair.
Okay. And
Now-
Andy, I think we got confused earlier. You said Bradley Cooper as Batman. I said Chris Pratt was the name that was thrown
I
out.
know, and
Oh,
I
but
said
you're
the
just
James Gunn
saying-
thing.
other Guardians.
I'm
Gotcha,
agreeing
gotcha.
with you in the sense that I don't think Chris Pratt would necessarily be the right Guardian for Batman if they had to pick one. It should be Bradley
You're
Cooper.
saying Bradley.
For
The
sure.
raccoon.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yes, exactly. Not
Okay,
him as the
cool.
raccoon, but him as the human being part.
Yeah. So Armie Hammer, I'd
well-
be fine with, but I think he's kind of dry and bland.
So you and I are on the. I guarantee you, we are on the minority on this.
Yes.
Robert Pattinson
Yes.
has been pitched as an idea for Batman. And
Give it to me.
I'm in.
Give it to me.
Yeah, I'm
Give
in.
it to me so hard.
Yeah. I looked at his IMDb today, and he has done nothing but like indie movies and art house movies for the last since 2012. Since
he made all the
finished
money on Twilight. He cut the
Twilight,
check. Yeah.
he's like, I'm gonna do whatever the hell I want to do, and he did that for 5 to 7 years now, and he's ready for his. I'm gonna be Batman now.
Look, Andy, he's got that Efron money. Like Efron did High School Musical, and he's set for life with honeys and with money. Like he never has to pay for anything. So like, Pattinson doesn't need this.
No, he doesn't. But how? Like, does DC just not pick him because everybody would roast them in advance?
He's tall enough, man. I think they've already been roasted
he's
enough.
Tall enough. How tall?
He's tall enough. He is. He is tall enough.
How tall is Robert Pattinson?
He's a tall dude.
6'1". Oh, okay.
I told you, he's tall enough.
Let's do it.
Like when they cast Ben Affleck, the first thing I was like, he's tall enough. Like in my head, like when someone's like, "Yo, Batman," I'm like, tall. I need tall.
All right, I'm in. I'm in on that. So
kind of piggybacking off that, I know this isn't real, but someone pitched Steve Carell as Penguin, and I haven't been able to stop thinking about that. How that could be Heath Ledger levels of good, because the dude can deep act and go crazy bonkers.
I'm all in on such a thing. There is pretty heavy rumors that Josh Gad is going to be the Penguin in this next one.
At least Josh Gad has been campaigning for it on his own Twitter.
Isn't he cast in the movie though?
No, he's not. He's just been campaigning for it.
Oh, well then let's get Steve Carell up in this bitch. Let's go.
Andy, would you could you imagine if we got Robert Pattinson as Batman and Steve Carell as the Penguin? Wouldn't that be incredible? That would be incredible.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do this. All right. Let me throw a news story at you here.
Please.
The new Star Wars title has been rumored to come out, and
I haven't heard this.
And it's called Star Wars Episode 9. J.J. Abrams saves the series. Do you agree?
I don't think it needs saving, but I think it's going to be a good movie. I do think it's going to be good.
That's not the pitch. Okay, that's not the real name. No, the real rumored title is Balance of the Force.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, so I would be in on that. I think that is also a subtle reference to the balancing of the hate of the two sides of the fandom for Star Wars as well. So it kind of does play well.
Mm-hmm. I like that. I like
Balance
that a lot.
of the Force.
I'm all in.
Okay.
All in.
All right. All right. What do you got? I'm sure you have a bunch more.
Yeah, I have a few more yet. I think instead of Balance of the Force, I'd like Balance of the Jedi. So it could be like Return of the Jedi, No, I guess the Force makes sense because if the first trilogy ends with Sith, a movie like Revenge of the Sith, and saying Sith, and then the second trilogy ends with Return of the Jedi. What's the middle ground? Yeah.
Gray, balance.
But the first one had Force Awakens in it, so like using the word Force in two titles kind of seems weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Balance of the Force. Yeah, I'm down for it though.
Okay.
If that's whatever it is, doing it.
Okay, you ready for the next news story, Andy?
Yeah, let's do it. What do you got?
Uh, Disney it's been rumored that they are looking to recast Wolverine. Obviously, they have to do that to reboot X-Men and do whatever they're going to do.
Yeah.
Daniel Radcliffe has been pitched
Yeah.
as Wolverine,
Yep.
and I got to tell you, initially I was like, what? And then I'm like, you know what? Okay.
What is it with us and like these teen series wanting them to be now our heroes?
Well, I like if he yokes out, like, wouldn't you love to see Harry Potter just yoked, like just like head to toe muscles?
Could you imagine him looking at the camera, snarling, and saying, "How you doing there, bub?" Like,
No, it seems he just like in the same way that I went like he's tall enough for Batman with Daniel Radcliffe. I went he's short enough in my head. I did that.
5'5".
He's short enough to be Wolverine.
Yes, and the first picture I pulled up of him when I just Googled his face, I Googled Daniel Radcliffe's face. It did look a little Wolverine-y. I'm not gonna lie to
think
you.
if they added the beard and he just like lets the hair up top get a little mangy and like gross, I like it. I don't know why. I don't think it's gonna happen,
No,
but I
there's
do
no
like
way.
it.
There's no
I
way.
do like it.
No way. The next big casting rumor for Marvel is going to involve Tom Cruise. Don't even worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, leader of the
Luck of the
Eternals.
century,
You
the
heard it
week
here
of the
first,
year.
Andy.
Yeah.
Leader of the Eternals, Tom Cruise.
I think he's going to be Doctor Doom or Mr. Fantastic, but what do I know?
Tom Cruise,
what do
Mr.
I know?
Fantastic. That would be insane. Oh my god.
That not be perfect?
That Disney would have too much money at that point.
Okay.
Like that's
just the quickest of all takes on Will Smith and his looking blue.
Yeah, that's on my list too.
What's your quick take on that?
I'm fine with it. Like, stop Shrek memeing it. Stop. Like, he's gonna be blue, y'all. He looks like a genie. That's what a genie looks like.
It's fine. What do you want from that movie?
Yeah.
It's about exactly what I expected.
Yeah, looks like a genie.
Okay, good.
I am looking at a poster of Aladdin and Jasmine on my wall right now, so maybe I'm a little biased.
my gosh, of course you do. Okay. Anyway, okay. I'm gonna hit you with another quick one, real quick.
Cool.
Did we talk about the Trench spinoff yet?
No. What? What is what?
The Aquaman Trench spinoff?
Oh no, we haven't talked about that. That's so dumb. The Trench monsters.
So you're not gonna go see a horror movie in the DC Universe world involving trench monsters?
I'm in the no thanks camp. I'm check one for out. I am not RSVPing that nonsense.
Okay, good. That's kind of.
You know what I am RSVPing though, Andy?
What?
The Firefest movie written by Seth Rogen and starring The Lonely Island.
It's gonna have to be on fire. It's gonna be incredible. Yes.
I need it in my life. Yeah. Did you watch the Firefest doc?
I have not watched that yet. I want to be able to watch both of them together, so I've kind of been waiting.
I would say watch the Netflix one first,
okay,
because I think it's the better of the two, personally.
Man of Steel 2? Did you hear what Henry Cavill demanded, like a script and a director for his movie because he wants to be in the movie, but then there was no real like movement on that, and so now it's back to being like, everyone's saying that this is inaccurate, of course, but basically there's no movement at all on Superman until today, where we saw a rumor that there was an actual cameo shot by Henry Cavill in
Shazam, right?
Yes. Yeah. So do you think that there's actually a cameo? And then if it is, do you think it should be in there? And do you think it would be good if they did that?
I think that this is one of those like NBA, like the sources leak kind of thing. So I believe that they shot a cameo with Henry Cavill. I believe that the current cut of the movie does not have the cameo in the movie, but they are using this as leverage, and they might put the cameo in the movie just to force Henry Cavill back into their services.
I think that if this movie is actually good and they watch it and they think it's good, the best thing they could do for the DC universe would be to put Cavill back in this movie as a cameo, right?
Yeah, and then to be like, hey, Batman's leaving, but don't worry, Superman's back, and he's gonna.
Yeah, exactly. Like they need to
keep supering.
Yes. Yeah. Have you seen recent pictures of Henry Cavill?
No,
I did not.
I know he's doing The Witcher.
I did not think it was possible, but he's stronger. Henry Cavill, strongest man ever. Yeah, I'm gonna send you the picture of him with his shirt off. Don't worry.
Okay, well, he can clearly. I mean, he has the arm cannons. He can, reload his arms at will.
Yes,
So,
yes, he can reload at will. Okay.
well, while you're doing that, I'm gonna just
Yeah,
quickly drop on you.
hit me with a couple more news stories
Yeah,
because I don't really have anything
yeah,
other than Avengers Runtime, which I'm sure you kind of have on there too.
yeah. Oh,
So
yeah. We got it. Yeah, we got to talk about that one for sure. Well, let's end with that one. Let me just go through the rest of the ones I
okay.
got real quick. Then, Lego Movie 2 is bombing. I don't know if you saw that.
Yes, it
Only
made
made about 30,
half
and it's
of its
yeah,
projection. That's
and
bad.
and it did worse than the first, and it's bad.
Worse
And I
than
wonder why that's the case. Yeah, I wonder why that's the case because you would think that Lego Movie 1 and Lego and Batman movie did so good that it would just like be able to
it's.
just make money.
I
But
don't
maybe
know.
it's a thing where like they didn't market it enough because they thought people would just go.
Advertising I felt was weird on this one. They did not advertise, I didn't think, the same way they did with the first two. Or
Okay,
maybe it's
so and you think
already in our
that's
heads, and so we're just so used to it now we don't think about it as anything special. Plus,
I can't think of any trailers or ads that I saw on my phone or like I
yeah,
didn't see it anywhere outside of the places where I sook it. Like I went to find it.
um, it's 2 weeks away from How to Train Your Dragon 3 as well. So
Which is a dumb move. Just a dumb move.
yeah, so I don't know how much that affects it. Some people
Yeah.
they pick one movie a
Yeah.
month kind of thing. You know what I mean? So
Which is a shame because the critics really gave it a good review, and I wonder if that's maybe one of the things where like the critics just gave it such a good review, and people are just like, "Oh, whatever, it's good. I'll see it whenever."
yeah,
And it's like
I'll catch it eventually.
yeah. Next one is Nightmare Before Christmas stuff. So there's two different parts to this. There's one that they're trying to make a sequel in the same stop motion version, and also they're trying to make a live action version.
Okay.
So like part of me is like, Disney, what are you doing? And the other part of me is just like, well.
Okay, so which part of you is like, well, for the sequel or the live action?
I would prefer a sequel to a live action movie.
Okay,
as long as Burton is involved.
Let me just go ahead and tell you something really quick. Neither one of these.
They need
are
to
good.
leave this alone.
Yeah,
and
neither
touch it.
one
Yeah,
of these are
yeah,
good ideas.
Yeah, I'm with you. I get it. Like you kind of gave me a pick your poison. It sounded like with that one.
No.
If I could choose, it'd be neither.
There's
neither.
there's always the third poison which kills everything.
Okay.
And that's the one you should have selected, actually.
So instead of red pill and blue pill, it was no pills.
No pill,
just no
or
pills.
both together.
I'll just die in the Matrix.
Yeah, both
I'll die
together,
in the Matrix.
and you're just really confused.
Okay.
No, I cannot believe that they're doing this. Like, I listen. My wife loves that movie.
They like money.
My son
Andy.
loves that movie.
I love Nightmare Before Christmas. I am looking at Jack Skellington sitting on my desk.
Everything that we talk about conveniently on Elijah's desk.
I'll send you pictures. I really have them.
I cannot believe that they're thinking about doing this. There is a 5% chance that is actually good, right?
I think
how could it be good?
Sequel,
what could it be? What could the sequel possibly be about?
I got you. The thing that I have wondered my entire life is what those other doors look like behind the trees, the other kingdoms. So I think you could have Jack invading a Easter land or a Thanksgiving land. Yeah, I think you could do something smart with other holidays that Jack and even Santa involved.
Have Jack Skellington come to America on the 4th of July. Done.
Yes, so I just think that there's other.
But then he can't because the world the 4th of July built a wall.
Oh my gosh!
And he couldn't get in. That's the sequel.
Yeah, you got it. But yeah, like I said, if there was anything that they had to do, I'd prefer a sequel in the stop motion versus a live action. But I want Tim involved. I want Tim Burton involved. Like as much as I think that he's lost it as a director in later years, I think
Tim Burton is going to be putting up Tim Burton performance of the ages during Dumbo.
Oh yeah, you're right. No, yeah, you're right.
Yeah, he's going to put up some pretty high percentage shots this year.
Yeah,
I cried during the trailer. So there's
I've cried multiple times during that Dumbo trailer, like at different movies, knowing the trailer was coming.
You know what else made me cry, Elijah? Knowing that A Quiet Place 2 is getting made.
Yeah.
Just a moment of silence for good horror movies that don't need sequels.
Yeah, when something makes money, man,
a moment of silence.
Milk it. Oh.
Okay, there we go. Now you can say whatever.
God damn it. All right, last thing on my news list was just about Diana Guerrera. Is that how you say her name? Okoye from
yes.
Black Panther?
Danielle Guerrera.
Danielle. Okay,
sure.
Got it. Danielle Guerrera. Either way, her contract is up on Walking Dead, the TV show, and she's confirmed to like not be signing after season 10, and they'll like probably write her out somewhere in season 11 and like do some things like they did kind of with Maggie. Also, that show just a mess behind the scenes. Like, it's crazy that they keep losing all their talent like this. But the rumor is that she'd be going to the Walking Dead movies with Rick. So that's kind of movie news. I just wanted to bring it up because it seems, she became a big star. She's like, F this Walking Dead stuff, and then she might be in the movies with
Hey,
Rick.
by the way, I'm
now
gonna
in
be
the
in Walking
trilogy.
Dead.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Yeah, so like leaving the show to like, because we're going to have these kind of universes going forward where people leave a show to go be a part of a movie or are in a movie that becomes a show. It's just going to, the lines are going to blur so much. I thought
right?
this was interesting.
Dora Milaje, is that what they're called?
Yeah, the Dora Milaje.
Milaje. Yeah, I want a movie about them.
I'd like a series,
Yes,
please. I'd like give me a 4-episode. Yeah, Disney Plus 4-episode series, please.
Okay, I accept. And I did have one other thing. I'm so sorry before we talk about Avengers Runtime. They're actually going to film the Avatar scenes, the live action scenes. So they're done with all the mocap stuff. And they're moving on to the real world scenes that they're going to film.
That's another interesting part of that, that like they said that, because they've already shot the 2 and the 3 already, but they haven't shot 4 and 5 yet. And Disney's just like up in the air and hasn't greenlit 4 and 5 yet, which is very concerning to me.
Oh, they're going to greenlight that when the money machine James Cameron comes printing. Don't even worry.
Andy, do you want more Avatar? Is that the thing that you actually want in your life?
I cannot
when you
tell
really
you.
dig deep and think about it.
I cannot tell you how much I want more Avatar. It is
really
yes, and here let me just say something too. There is very few series that have been beaten to death, and that is one of them. Like, we have one thing for Avatar. There's no Avatar DreamWorks show on Netflix. There's, you know what I mean? Like, there's not like spin-offs.
There's Avatar Land in Disney World.
Yeah, and I'll be going next January. So we'll be, and we'll be going next year.
We'll be going.
We're going.
What are you talking about? We're going.
Okay, so Avengers runtime is at 3 hours. So I got 2 questions for you. One is, why is it so short? And the second is, should it have an intermission?
Okay, so I think we got to start with the intermission thing, because that's the biggest piece of drama here. I like there have been 3-hour-long movies before, and them saying that like them deciding that it needs to be 3 hours means that they want to finish the story, and like we're probably going to get like multiple Return of the King endings, so like that last 20 minutes will probably just be like fitting ends for a bunch of different characters, and then springboarding what the next rest of the universe is going to be. But I think it would be ballsy to have an intermission. I don't think it will realistically happen because, you have to like fit in a certain amount of movies in a day, and, time is against them.
As someone who is closely connected to a movie theater, I would highly like them to not have intermissions.
Yes. But for me, I think it would be the coolest thing that they could do to add the intermission, because they can say, we're effing Marvel. We've been doing this for 10 years. This is the end of an era, and there is an intermission. I think I like the drama of whatever moment they decide to make the intermission.
I'll tell you what, we'd be walking back into that movie being like, we have another hour and a half of this thing to go. Oh my gosh. Like,
or maybe they go 2 hours and then it's 1 hour after.
Yeah, something like that.
Like, because there has to be whatever the climax is of the second act.
Yeah.
That's got to be the go take a pee moment.
So and then I wish it was longer, right? We do wish it was longer.
Yeah. Oh yeah. But I don't think that we could have ever hoped it would be longer than 3 hours, right?
Now, I have one final question for you about this, because we knew it was going to be long. We know it's going to be the end of this 10-year run. What can we possibly expect for an end credit scene? Do you have any idea? Is there any inclination that you think that we'll have something?
Well, the Disney Fox merger will probably not be done until June. But I think if they had the same way that Thanos cuts to look at the screen at the end of Avengers 1, if it was like Galactus, that would be pretty freaking cool.
Because don't they have, if they're going to do an end credit scene, don't they have to like set up the next big villain like they did for Thanos? Or do for this one, since this is like the end, they don't have to do anything until whatever the next, quote unquote Avengers movie is going to be, and then they set up the next big bag. I mean, what do they?
This could be It could be the end of end credit scenes. Like they could just not do it and then it's done.
There's no way.
They could do.
They make so much.
You know
Yeah,
what?
they're in the business
I
of
think
the
I know
end
what it
credit
is,
scene.
Andy.
Okay.
I think it's a long form tribute to Stan Lee is what I think it is. I don't think it's like any other end credit scene we've had before. And I think it's just the actors coming out in character as the characters. And then at some point they break character and they're just the actors. And I think it's a big thank you to Stan Lee.
I can't take it. I couldn't take it. I'm already getting emotional just thinking about such a thing.
I think if I were them, that's what I would do. I would have the Endgame post-credit scene after all the credits be all the main actors in character talking about the importance of Stan Lee.
That would be a good palate cleanser.
Cutting their character and just being the actors talking to camera about Stan Lee. That's what I would do.
Palate cleanser. Can they afford to do that? Spider-Man's a month and a half afterwards.
Maybe the first end credit scene, like the mid credit scene, is a Spider-Man one.
Or they don't even pretend it doesn't exist anymore. They're like, you could do your Sony shit. We'll see you in a couple of years for Avengers. Right? Okay, that's cool. All right, I got nothing else. I'm good. I'm good.
Man, me either.
Wrap.
That was a good episode of the pod here.
Like a toyga. Okay, so next week we should look to review Alita, Battle Angel.
Yeah, Battle Angel. Yep, I'm gonna go see it on Valentine's Day with Pat.
You're gonna see it on Thursday night. Cool. I'll go see it on Sunday by myself. Then this has been your host,
we'll
Andy
Sunday.
And Elijah. We'll talk to you guys later. Thanks for being on the podcast tonight. I will see you next time. Exit
we'll
music.
Go see it on Sunday. No, Andy. This podcast, as always, is brought to you by Altered Reality Entertainment. They're the creators of Empire State Comic-Con. Go check it out at escomiccon.com. We've got celebrities, artists, vendors, all that good stuff. Andy, I'm so sorry. We will go see it with you.
I got
Sunday.
a fucking wife, man. I can't see it on Valentine's Day.
I know. He was going to be my hot date. No, okay. All right, guys. Thanks for listening to Movies at Midnight.